What's up, guys? This is David Kitchen, Soccer Dave, broadcasting live from Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Tuesday Daily Fantasy NBA show. Joining me, the one, the only, DavisMattek. Davis, can you say hey?
What's up, bros?
And then the sexy beast right here, Naapstermaan. You may know him as the guy who wins everything. So,
not recently. That's true.
Oh, stop it.
Weird remix.
Dubstep, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, we keep it real on this show. We keep it absolutely real on the show. So this is InsidersTV, the daily fantasy NBA show, and real excited to have Davis and Nap on the show. We were just discussing in pre-show about the how hard it is to get some of these big qualifier tickets. Our boy Dan got the trifecta, and then Primetime got it again. Chop has a few, but man, it's really hard, and the DraftKings tickets are really hard to get. I pulled the biggest rookie mistake ever 2 Sundays ago, and thought that I had qualified. You know, because you see like a DraftKings ticket qualifier, and so you see the amount of spots paid out. Well, I thought I was like, even with my player, I think it was Drew Brees just getting nothing for me. I still was like, in the amount of tickets paid out, I did not click on the payment details to see that like 1 through 10 was the ticket, and then 11 through 15 was like another 109 qualifier. So it's like kind of on the Star Street front, and I was really bummed when I saw that I had, instead of two more DraftKings tickets, because I have one. I lucked into one for football. I had instead a 109 qualifier ticket and a $27 qualifier ticket.
Oh, that's the nut low, man.
Oh.
It was bad. Those are like the kick in the gut. Speaking of kick in the gut, last night, Davis, you had a little kick in the gut on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm FanDuel and Draft Day. I just punted everything. DraftKings went okay because I used Kufis there, like I recommended to everyone on the show. But I ended up tinkering with lineups for like an hour before tip-off, and I ended up going with Drummond and Josh Smith, which worked out great for the first half, and then they just didn't play because Milwaukee is what we thought the 76ers were going to be.
So you guys got RG3'd in the nuts. You see that last night?
That was there's a few good pictures and animated GIFs. Do you say GIFs or GIFs?
It's still GIFs.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how I say it too. Some people say things differently. You know, you got fajita and fajita, and
the creator says it's GIF, but I don't listen to him because what does he know?
Exactly. There's also the memes and the memes. There's actually like a BuzzFeed article on how you say different stuff. So, anyways, last night was rough. It was brutal, and I pulled a big rookie mistake and had some invalid lineups on Draft Street. I just totally lost track of time, and instead of just when I originally entered them, just putting in like a dummy lineup that might even do something, I didn't. And it was bad. And then Al Jefferson, it just was a bad night. Tonight, only 4 games. There is a little bit of news though. You have the suspension that went down. Nap, you and I were kind of talking about the suspension on Saturday night. I was hoping Bogut was going to get tossed. He did not. He is going to miss tonight's show. Yes, he's going to miss tonight's Insiders TV show, but he's also going to miss the game tonight against the Hornets, or the Pelicans rather. And so it's going to be interesting. Jermaine O'Neal did go through shoot around. I don't think he plays tonight. Davis, what says you?
This is what I've been trying to figure out all day, because if he doesn't go, that means that FanDuel actually becomes like kind of easy to set tonight. But if Jermaine O'Neal does play and starts at the center, then FanDuel becomes really difficult tonight. I think you can make lineups right now without that news, like kind of okay, but it totally changes what you do at power forward and at small forward on FanDuel, depending on whether or not he goes.
Nap, you think he goes, yay or nay?
Nay, I don't see it. He's looks like a full-blown game-time decision. It's the last game. It's between, it's him and Spates. They're both 3.7, 3.5, so, maybe play one of each if you're doing multiple entries, and hopefully one's going to get 30-plus minutes. Even if O'Neal starts, I don't see him getting more than 30, like maybe 25 at max, so O'Neal's super risky. I think you got to have a little Spates coverage for that last game in case O'Neal doesn't play.
Yeah, I really like Spates as like a value play, especially where there's a lot of flexibility on the sites. I think, though, that this really opens up the door for Anthony Davis tonight. Because he's going up against David Lee, basically, in Spates. And, we're talking about 5 or 6 block shots, lots of rebounds. He is – and his price is relatively cheap. He started off low, then went really high, and now compared to what he can do tonight, I think that he's good. And I think on the opposite side, I think David Lee is a good play without Bogut and without O'Neal. He's going to be logging a lot of minutes. Davis, your take on that game as a whole, are those guys? Do you feel good about using any other guys from that Golden State team?
I don't want to use Barnes tonight with Thompson and Curry back in the lineup, because we've seen the only time he took 12 shots in 45 minutes against the Blazers because Curry and Thompson were both in. When he doesn't have the offensive responsibility, he doesn't force the issue at all. And, he's not enough of a playmaker to think that you're going to get 5 assists or anything out of him. So you're sort of looking at like a 25-point ceiling with Thompson and Curry going, even if he plays the full 48, which I think if Jermaine O'Neal sits, we might see a situation where David Lee, Barnes, and Thompson all play around 45 minutes.
Wow. Yeah.
we had.
Yeah, SF.
Go for it.
Sorry,
no, you go.
I'll say shoot it. If you're not playing Barnes, SF on FanDuel is just like you got Gay, Webster, and maybe Ariza. DeMar Carroll.
Draymond Green for the minimum.
Draymond Green, maybe,
because he'll play both forward spots, and then David Lee will just play center.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Oh man, that small forward position is killer. I think Webster's the guy that you have to play, regardless. Yeah. That's the other little bit of news today is that Bradley Beal last night came out. Do we know what happens for sure with him? I know it's the leg that he injured this past spring, but do we have an idea for sure what's wrong with him or how long he's going to be out?
It's a stress fracture in his leg. It was the same injury that he missed time with last year, and they're just hoping that, sort of like when Nene sat for a week earlier this season to let his calf heal. They're sort of just hoping that if he rests it for a couple weeks, it'll heal.
Yeah.
So he'll be out. They're fearing that he might be out for a while, but obviously not going to be playing tonight. So Webster is the backup shooting guard. He's going to get some time, even if Ariza is in the lineup. And then you have, on the flip side of that, you have John Wall, who, do you think his value goes up or down? I was talking to my boy Steve at Sports for Steve, and he says that his assist might be going down, and this might be something that hurts John Wall more than helps him, which is an interesting take. Your thoughts, Nap, on that?
I still think, it's the matchup at home. I don't think you can fade Wall. I think maybe assists. If assists go down, then his shots go up. So, they kind of offset each other. I'm just not really spending at point guard tonight. I like, for Livingston opens up a ton. I like Lowry Holiday combo, both at home, good matchup. So, I'm just not too high on Wall. I kind of want to see what they're going to do with Beal out first.
Yeah, I think that point guard is a spot. You mentioned one of the guys that I really like, Lowry. Davis, you wrote the article on the Daily Fantasy Pulse on FantasyInsiders.com. Ding. And who are some of the position guys that you like at that point guard and shooting guard positions?
The guys I wrote up were Wall, Lowry, and Livingston. If you wanna go cheap, you go Lowry and Livingston, or the Holiday Lowry combo isn't awful. I played around with that too. But I think kind of the guys you want in tonight are DeRozan and Afflalo at shooting guard. And so if you do that, it makes sense to go Livingston and Lowry.
I am so nervous about using those two shooting guards.
You're nervous about Aaron Afflalo? All he does is score fantasy points. Blowout doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Look at his game logs.
I know he's been a beast. I think shooting guard is the spot that I want to save on. So
Steve Blake. I mean, 2K less than Afflalo is pretty much matching him lately. It's tough to fade that.
Yeah, I mean, I like Steve Blake. Even a guy. I mean, the shooting guard is so thin, but on FanDuel, where you're locked in with Martell Webster being a small forward, maybe use one of those guys. If I would absolutely be terrified to use Afflalo and DeRozan, but that's just my nature. I feel like sometimes the draft street in me, it gets me off of players.
All those missed shots.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
DeRozan has scored 33, 29, and like 28 or something like that. Like his last 3 games, and Rudy Gay has the flu. He could shoot 30 times tonight.
Is Rudy Gay playing tonight?
He is gonna play, but it's hard to hoist up 30 shots if you're not feeling good, man.
If anybody could do it, Rudy Gay.
He banned stat sheets from the locker room, man.
What in the world?
Wow.
If you're ban,
how about this play? Go ahead.
If you're banning stat sheets, that's just like I can just see him like in the locker room just taking people's papers because he's shooting like 30%. So no wonder
Yo, Amir, your defense cost us the game. Rudy, you missed more shots than anyone else took. These stats are tearing us apart, man.
Oh, it's bad. Nap, you talked about someone mentioned. I'm guessing you're going to say what Belanca just mentioned as a cheap play. Go ahead with that in the chat.
Oh, it's actually $100 less than Ross. I was looking at Alan Anderson. I'm kind of one of those idiots that looks at revenge factors, and he's going back to Toronto. He's got a lot of friends there. He's getting 20 minutes, putting up 20 points about a game or fantasy points. I mean, I could see him going for a little revenge on Gay and DeRozan.
I like Alan Anderson tonight. He's got that gunner mentality, and if it's not close, in the fourth, he'll when they got blown out against the T-Wolves, he played the whole fourth quarter, didn't sit at all.
Yeah.
I love the revenge factor, and I don't take it into account as heavily as other people do, but I do think that it has merit on the basketball court, especially. As far if you're a wide receiver and you're playing your old team, well, it's not completely dependent on you. And the same even with baseball, unless you're a pitcher. But even that is a little bit different than when you're on the basketball court and you have the ball in your hands. And you have a little bit of motivation to get to the rack, to score some, to really show that team that they made a mistake. And some people are they feel differently about it. Condia last night had Jennings everywhere. And he's a guy that has been tearing it up this season. And I think maybe in whatever algorithm he is using, there is a revenge, some sort of RPGA or something to that effect. But
that's awesome.
Revenge per game.
Revenge per 36, dude.
Wow.
S. Beaselton mentions in the chat that Ariza has the revenge factor as well. Are we sure that he's going to be playing tonight?
He is gonna play, but
Mhm.
I don't think you can start him because that's how hamstrings are, right? Like a hamstring can just go bad at any point, and then he'll be in the locker room for the rest of the game. Which means Webster could, if Webster is backing him up and playing shooting guard, that's maybe 42 minutes because Eric Maynard's too small to play off guard, especially against DeRozan.
Yeah, and then they might.
Wait, that's the wrong game. I'm an idiot.
I was wanting to say I think you got the matchups wrong there. But Ariza is with Webster backing him up. It's going to be Webster's got to he might be forced to play two positions. So I agree that you might see a little bit of Wall Maynard going on with Webster, which will be fun. And that would be definitely a high paced game, and it's good for the other team too because Maynard's not that great of a defender. And
No, he is not. I watched him in Oklahoma City for 2 years. Matador defense on full.
so that will be fun. This for those that are just now tuning in. This is the Fantasy Insiders TV NBA show. Joining me, DavisMattek and Naapstermaan. We're going to play a little game here at the top of the hour, in where we draft players on our FanDuel team, and only one player per team. So it's a little bit of both, and you have to stay under the cap. So should be a good time. We try this out a little bit with football, and Grant Gerton, the Fanium CEO who's always on here. I think his new game coming out is going to be somewhat like this, the Fantasy Elite DFS game. So these are the fun games. These are the cool stuff that I really hope kind of happens in the industry. More of these turn-based games and just different games that will allow people to play whatever they like. Nap, can you tell us a little bit about the Dong game that you had with Dean
With Dean.
this summer for baseball? Because this was something that you guys did almost every day.
Yeah, we love dongs, we love homers, and we just wanted to add a little action every day. So we each picked. It started with I think it started maybe 3 people. We draft back and forth, and then if they hit a homer, you get $50 to another person. And then that wasn't enough. We kept tying like one homer. So we upped it to 5 people a day. And then we started getting a little $100 exchange a day. And then we started doing 10 a day and 20 a day. And it gets so crazy. And then you just have way more to watch during the games. And it's daily fantasy, but you're not worrying about salary. It's just you pick your favorite guys who's going to homer, and we ended up he was up only 2 homers after about 100 different people. So it's not going to change your bankroll too much unless you get crazy lucky. We added little bonuses like a grand slam's worth 100, walk-offs worth 100 instead of 50. First hit of the game is a homer's is 100. So you can just do any rules you want. Just make up games with friends. There's infinite possibilities.
And you said it's like game. It's instead of words with friends, it's like games with friends. And and so it's going to be fun to see kind of what happens. That I think what the turn-based games for home runs and hit. I mean, that could be those social games could be what comes out. And even for those that missed it today, Tuttle says in the chat, dongs with friends. No, that's definitely not getting approved in the App Store. But for those that missed it, the big news today is that DraftKings secured a Series B funding from like 3 different companies, including the one that gave them the first round of initial funding, and it's $24 million. That is a lot of money, and Nap, I'm glad we have you on the show today because you have taken down a few of those big tournaments on DraftKings. When you heard the news today, what was like your first initial thought?
That every single final is going to be $1 million first prize at least. It has to be. Maybe even 5 million within 3 years. I could see it for football. It's just they're not slowing down. It's good. It's good to see.
Definitely, and we were a little bit worried because when they first came out with some of the opening day tournaments for football, they didn't really feel like people thought they might, and some people thought that the whole industry in itself with the big prizes kind of took they try to skip a year, but I think it's not a bad thing, especially for players, because you have you have all that overlay. So this might be one of the best years for players. But I agree, the prizes are going to continue to be large, and then you also have their quotes that they tripled their users since August. And that they have, like in a year's time, they have like grown 10 times, which is just phenomenal. And they're closing the gap on FanDuel, and that only means good things for everybody. It means good things for the players. It means good things even for some of these other big companies because you kind of ride the wave with us. And it also means good things for sponsorships. Nap, can you hold that up again?
just Tuttle wanted to see my little baby energies. I got 2 flavors today.
Is one of those natural and the other one like berry?
Here's a supply. Pink lemonade and pomegranate.
Oh,
I can't do the shots, but I do knock down like 2 sugar-free monsters every day.
Oh,
true story.
Oh
man, during fantasy football draft season, when I was doing the draft boards and also working on Fantasy Insiders, I had like lack of sleep, and I was trying to supplement with energy drinks, and like there was a few times like my throat started like closing, like I felt like I was like, okay, I might be going to the hospital.
No, it's real life, dude. It's really bad for you. Like I can feel it. I can feel it in my like liver sometimes.
And so I actually switched to coffee. I was not a coffee person before that, but I did switch to coffee. But anyways, getting back to the DraftKings stuff, 24 million. Last January, we all went nuts because FanDuel secured an $11 million deal from Comcast. And this is a $24 million deal, and it just kind of goes to show you it's not going anywhere. If companies are comfortable in pumping in millions of dollars into these daily fantasy companies, then the sky is the limit. So was really pumped to see that news because those guys at DraftKings have done a lot of good stuff. And hey, without them, Nap, no one might even know your name really.
Yeah, those are big events for me, definitely.
I'm just kidding. People knew about you before then. Let's talk about some of these other games we have going on tonight. What if besides, or is the game you're targeting the Golden State game the most, Davis?
No, I think I'm targeting the Washington Lakers game the most. Nene Gortat is super cheap everywhere. Nene's price has come up a little bit. Webster's obviously in play. Steve Blake is in play. Jordan Hill is in play. I'm not going to play Powell or any of the 9 wings that play 20 minutes a game for the Lakers. But yeah, Blake, like Knapp said earlier in the show, is in my cash game lineup on FanDuel right now. But Gortat for sure has that juicy price tag on FanDuel right now at center because it's really like Horford or Gortat for me, and I don't want to spend that extra 1.5 on Horford.
What about Vucevic?
I can't play Vucevic in cash games right now. He's infuriating to me because ever since that 30 and 21 game, I play him at least in one lineup every single night, just waiting, and it's not been happening. I don't know why. I don't watch Orlando because without Tobias Harris, why would you? But maybe I'll watch him tonight since he's going to get some minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean he got some minutes on Sunday. I think I actually did go to Vucevic on Sunday, and it paid off. And I think sometimes when people get burnt by a player, they're really hesitant to go back to that person, even if they have a good matchup. Just like people that chase points, some people do the opposites, and they just refuse to play someone for a little bit. I think Vucevic has a decent matchup tonight. There's just not with a 4-game set. There's just not a ton of options. You have Vucevic. You also have Jonas Valanciunas if you want to go there where he's so cheap. I mean, besides that center position, besides some of those guys like Horford, who you don't know what you're going to do, what he's going to do, it's going to be a little tough where they're, especially on a site like FanDuel, where you're kind of locked into positions. I like the power forwards more than the centers tonight. I do think, though, that Gortat is super juicy tonight, as is Jordan Hill without Kaman.
Yeah.
I mean, his price is still relatively low, and Jordan Hill could also be a big-time factor tonight. So that game is going to be up and down the court. It should be fun. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
How about Andre Blatch, 5,100?
Yeah, Blatch. I'm all over Blatch. He's too expensive on DraftKings. I don't think he'll meet that price tag. But on FanDuel, yeah, he can go off for 25 just with the way he plays, and like he'll just shoot with impunity. He's a gunner at power forward, and like on FanDuel, yeah, he's definitely in play.
Did you just say shoot with impunity?
Impunity, Ray.
Man, you
want to have a dictionary?
You and your vernacular. It is so nice. You have a really nice vernacular. I hope you don't mind me saying that.
I'm still in college, dude, so it's like my brain's job to like use these words.
So you got a thesaurus by your desk for all those essays?
Dude, I'm in my grandma's basement right now. I couldn't find a thesaurus if I tried.
Awesome.
So you are legitimately in your grandma's basement?
Legitimately, like, in my grandmother's basement.
Well, I mean, there could be worse places, I guess.
I mean, yeah, like, I've done a podcast. I did my podcast in my car once.
No, you did not.
Happened.
like live podcast?
I mean, it was back when literally no one listened to the show. It was like this was like almost like 8 or 9 months ago when no one knew who I was. But yeah, I did.
Oh man, that's that's good stuff. As far as I can just see that happening. Anyways, we're going to play a little bit of a game. So here's the deal. You have 3 FanDuel lineups. I will let Nap, since you are kind of the guest on the show, you can choose if you want to draft first, second, or third. It's going to be a snake-based draft where you pick your FanDuel players, and you have to be under the cap. So what position would you like to go?
I'll go second.
Oh, going second.
I don't even know.
Already starting with the strategy. Okay, Davis. Pick a number. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Closed.
Okay, you're closed. I've got a number held up. Either 1 or 2. Which one is it?
2.
It is 1. So you
Fail.
are going. You are going third, and I'm going to go first.
Ooh.
So that is how we are going to play this. So let me get this all set up.
Oh, did you have a bet with anyone with that Monte yesterday? I think he lost. That's Lawson.
Oh yeah, I did lose something.
What was the bet?
Damn. I don't remember what it was.
Well, that doesn't work if we can't remember what it was. I don't even know.
It was. I don't know if we made an official bet. I probably tried to prod you guys into it, and you were like, "Nah, I can't go against Monte right now."
All right, let's let me get this up. As far as the FanDuel screen, I'm gonna have to basically put up 3 different FanDuel screens. So
my computer would blow up.
I can pull my lineup right. Do you want me to pull mine up?
what are you talking about?
Like I'm editing a lineup right now, and I can just screen share.
Okay. You can have yours up, and let's see. Don't get your head in the gutter.
Oh, it's 24/7.
It's already there. All right.
Wakes up straight up. I mean, my head, not my, yeah.
Got it.
All right. Let's draft.
All right. So my first pick is going to be Anthony Davis, because I think that he has such a monster game. So that is where I am going. So I will go Anthony Davis. Nap, you are up next.
Let me hold on. I'm clearing my lineup. All right. Any position, anything, basically?
Yep.
Let's go with a little... Oh, man. I'll go Gortat.
Ooh, Gortat as the second pick. Man, I can already see Nap's brain working.
2020.
I will go DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
All right, and you have another pick as well.
Steve Blake. No, Allen Anderson.
Whoa. Can we allow that? It's like if it already left your mouth.
Well, no, I was thinking because it's going to be hard to eke out min plays in other spots. So I'm going Allen Anderson.
It's like chess. You let go, man.
Yeah, your hand came off the pawn.
I said Blake. Wait, Allen Anderson.
Okay, so you didn't finish the last E in Blake. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. All right, so you're going Allen Anderson. Nap, you are up, sir.
So we're picking our own teams, but they can't be on the same. Two guys from the same team.
Correct.
But there's 9 people and eight teams going.
Huh?
There's 9 spots and there's 8 teams playing.
There's only 3 teams playing.
No.
Oh, you're talking about total.
What?
There's 8 NBA teams playing, Dave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's going to be tough.
No, I'm saying there's going to be one with 2 guys from the same team. Oh, you're saying our 3 teams can't overlap?
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking your NBA teams couldn't overlap. I was like, it's not possible. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Just had to clarify for everyone.
Okay.
All right. So I had Gortat. Let's go. Damn, you guys messed me up. Took DeRozan. I'll go David Lee.
Oh, I like it, Mr. David Lee.
Homer.
So just to recap, you have Gortat and now David Lee.
Okay.
Davis, you have who?
Anderson and DeRozan.
You have Anderson and DeRozan. And I have Anthony Davis. I'm going to pair him with Sean Livingston.
Nice.
And
so my turn.
Would you wait your turn? This is a snake-based draft. You're not into like 2 more turns. Gosh. All right. So here's the screen. I've got Livingston and Davis because I think that there's going to be some good value there. Man, I cannot do it. I can't. So I'm going to have to go Webster.
Okay.
I wanted to go a player, but I cannot do it.
Man, you just killed SF. I will go... I'm gonna go. I'll go Harrison Barnes. Just SF, just too thin now.
Barnes not a bad pick though tonight. I mean,
yeah.
Especially if he gets the minutes. I mean, Gabe thinks he's Paul George, reincarnated. So,
he really does. He has a mad crush on that guy.
He loves him. He really does. So, Davis, you're up for 2 now.
All right, I'm gonna take Nene and John Wall.
Nice.
Okay, so can you recap your team?
Yeah, my team is John Wall, DeMar DeRozan, Allen Anderson, and Nene Hilario.
All right, we might need you to do a screenshot next time. I
can share my screen right now.
My turn.
Yep.
I think.
Who is your
Jordan Hill? Jordan Hill.
You're going Jordan Hill.
Yep.
And who is your other pick? I think I missed it.
Barnes, Lee,
Barnes.
Gortat.
Barnes was it. All right, and I will be going. So I've got Livingston, Webster, and Davis. 39-2. So that's a little bit over 6K, 6.5K. So I need to go cheap. I don't want to do this. I really don't. I'm afraid, though, I'm going to have to go Paul Pierce. Oh,
What? Nice.
it's brutal, but he's 5,700 on FanDuel. And so he basically is going to be tough to fade. And then I have...
So he won't cost you that much as he scores 18 fantasy points.
He has burned me quite a bit. I will say that he burnt me last week. I think maybe 2 times, maybe even 3 times. I don't know. I kind of lost track after how many times I've been burned. The other position, though, I want to go, I feel like there's a lot of value at power forward, so I probably need to get my point guard on, and I will go ahead and go... I'll go Drew Holiday tonight. Nap, you're up.
Okay. No one said to me. I'll go Steve Blake.
Steve Blake. That is actually who I should have picked. I'm regretting that. All right, Davis, pull up your screen for us.
It's on.
All right, so that's Davis's team. You've got Wall, DeRozan, Anderson, and now you have 2 picks.
Taking Kyle Lowry and Draymond Green.
Oh, man. I love that Kyle Lowry pick. And Draymond's not bad either.
I can't believe you took Holiday instead.
I was debating it. I really like both of those guys tonight. And if you're not playing Livingston, I don't see a problem with playing both of them. Their salary is very nice, so I don't have a problem with that at all. You're up, Nap. You've got 2 point guard positions, a shooting guard position, and a small forward.
Playing with some salaries, see what I can do. I think I have to go cheap at SG. Let's go Oladipo. Why not?
Hey, he's been playing pretty good. Davis, I'll ask you about this. Your thoughts on Victor Oladipo with your boy Tobias Harris coming back and Glenn Davis back in the lineup. Does that help or hurt Oladipo?
I don't know neither of them are really shooters, so it's not like they're going to create a whole lot of space or anything, but Tobias Harris is just really good. So if you want a young athletic guy to sort of run the floor with Oladipo, Tobias is that guy. So I think it probably helps him. It's going to cut down his minutes a little bit probably because he's played some minutes at the 3, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he probably isn't going to get as many minutes at the 3, especially with Glenn Davis coming back.
All right.
What do you guys think about Joe Johnson after he blew up last night? Did you see a repeat or back-to-back not helping? Or
that's the thing. I saw Gabe tweet that the best thing that happened was Joe Johnson going off because people love to chase the points, but he was the only bright spot on Friday as well for the Nets. He's not exactly young, but you look at his past 3 games, and they haven't been bad. The only thing you have to worry about is kind of the blowout factor. I don't think Joe Johnson on a short slate, though, is a bad play because he is capable of scoring 25-plus points. And the only problem is he just doesn't get you a lot else. He's specifically a scorer. I would not want to use him on a site.
No cash game.
Yeah, and cash games. But, I really would want to stay away from all Nets if possible. That being said, I have 2 on my team as it is right now. So maybe not the best strategy. I've got shooting guard, power forward, and center left. You've got DeMar DeRozan, Allen Anderson. Oh, man. And then you have Steve Blake and Oladipo. So I really have the pick of the litter at shooting guard. So I can actually save them till last now.
You going to take Kobe? Heard he's coming back tonight.
I am not going to take Kobe. I am going to take who's your power forwards, Davis?
I just have Nene.
Okay, so that opens the door, and you have Nene. Nap has Lee and Hill, and so I will go ahead and get my. I'll go ahead and get my center on and go Gortat.
I got him.
Nap is Gortat.
First pick.
I will go ahead and get my center on and go Vucevic.
Okay.
That's who I thought you had first. So that would be my center. Now I need a power forward play, and let's go ahead and let's spend a little bit.
I was gonna say you can go 3 nets with Blatch after you said that.
Yeah, it's probably not the best strategy. I'll go ahead and go. I'll go ahead and go Millsap. So I've got 10.4. Millsap, he's one of those guys that he's a GPP play, really. He's not, I wouldn't recommend him in a cash game. Go ahead. Nap, you're up.
Oh, let's see. So you guys, I'm competing with Dave for SF right now. Looks like, yeah, you're filled in. Interesting. 4, 16. I'm gonna go DeMar Carroll. I need some cap.
Carroll, I like it. No one went green.
Nope.
I have Draymond Green.
This is why I need. All I can see on Davis's screen right now is my screen. There you go. There's your screen. I can see. Okay. Good. So this is Davis's team. Davis, you have 2 picks.
I'll take Rudy Gay and I guess Vucevic. Even though that doesn't.
I just took Vucevic.
You just took Vucevic? Okay, I'll take Horford.
Ooh, Horford.
This is an awful team. I hate it immediately.
It's so tough trying to predict what your cap's going to be with other people's picks.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely challenging, which is kind of one of the reasons why it's fun. You're up, Nap.
I go... man, I messed up my cap. You guys are filled up on point guard, right? Drew,
Yep.
Wall. Oh, anyone. I'm going to go Jameer Nelson.
Oh, ballin'!
I have to. There's no one else. That's...
Fat guy 3-pointers.
Do you think he might be traded? Some people are even thinking maybe the Bulls trade for him. That would be crazy if the Bulls traded for Jameer Nelson.
That would be crazy and stupid. The Bulls should be trying to tank for Jabari Parker right now.
All right, my last 2 picks, I will go. Let's see if I can. Yep, I can get him in. I will go Xavier Henry, and I will go Klay Thompson.
It's Xavier.
Whatever. So there you go. That's my team. Xavier Henry. Is that how you say his last name? Like the soccer player, Henry?
Henry.
No, it's just Xavier Henry.
Xavier, sorry. So my team is set. You've got one more point guard.
Wait, who's your other pick on this round? You only have 8.
I have I went Henry and Thompson.
Thompson, I didn't hear that. Klay Thompson. So, yeah, I had to free up space to get Teague or Curry, and I'm going to go with Curry.
Going to go with Curry. All righty. You're up with the last pick.
Jason Smith. The Dwight stopper. It was either him or Michael Scott. Normally I would break the tie on Michael Scott because Michael Scott, but
it's Mike Scott Davis.
But you gotta say Michael Scott.
In your face. All right. Well, Davis, put up your team one last time so we can see it. So,
you didn't have enough for Blatch?
Dave has Blatch.
No, I did not. I did not take Blatch.
Too late.
Nope. I have Dre Blatch now.
No, oh my! Twice in one round. Wow.
Yeah. I can't wait till we have people. So we have like some sort of enforcement where you can't do that sort of stuff. But this is like a kind of a test run. Your thoughts on this game? Let's see. Pull up your team. You've got Wall, Lowry, DeRozan, Anderson, Green, Gay, Hilario, Blatch, Horford, and then our two teams you can see there. I personally think that my team is the best. Personally, maybe that's because you get first pick. But your thoughts, guys, on like a game like this where you try to get under the cap and you draft for teams.
I would totally be about this sort. Like, if you could just do like the snake drafts on FanDuel, if it was like this, I would totally be down for that. Or on Draft Street, I mean, I would totally play these games. That was rad.
Yeah, way more strategy.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's a strategy based game, and you're kind of mixing in, especially if you have like bench players or if you could do like steals or something like that where you could steal another player. I mean, it would be something fun I would like to see, and just more variance. I mean, what Daily Fantasy needs is not another salary cap site. We're already bloated with salary cap sites, and I think that's almost like dangerous for industry because you have some of these sites going down like Double Up. They just went down. So that's why I prefer to stick to like the main 5 or 6.
Do you guys remember Daily Joust?
Of course.
I loved Daily Joust, and I'm pretty sure I still had like $100 in that account, and it's gone now forever.
No, it's on Fan Throwdown.
It should have gotten switched over to Fan Throwdown.
Cool. Then I've burnt through it already.
Daily Joust is where I cut my teeth. It is where and it was one of the top 3, and they just bad management and not being aggressive cost them. But Daily Joust was fun. I even liked the badges, except they were just too many badges. Like,
no, the badges were awesome. I wish FanDuel had that. Like those were awesome. I legitimately entered contests in hopes of winning badges.
You disagree, Nap?
I just took away from the gameplay. I mean, too much going on. You got to focus on the gameplay, not the side stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, I agree, and they put their development into badges and that sort of stuff, and their main product stayed the same for forever. But the concept of having like a trophy case is a really cool concept, especially like with tournaments. Like, Nap, how cool would it be if you opened up like someone could click on your name on DraftKings and they saw like your trophy case of all the big tournaments that you've cashed in? Like, that would be pretty cool. Now, having a badge for like most
cashing NBA 3 days in a row.
Yeah, most NBA victories in the month of March with the last name of K. I mean, that's kind of where they got a little bit ridiculous. Someone actually wants you to buy Daily Joust, Nap. Is that possible?
I think it's not even available anymore.
It just goes to a blank webpage when you type it in.
I think the name itself is available, just not the technology. But with your connections, Nap, I feel like you could get that up and running big time.
I don't want to own a say. It's too much work.
Do you guys want to play a 3-man with these lineups we just did on FanDuel?
Yeah, we're gonna play a $5 3-man and see who comes out on top. I mean, what's good about coming up with this if we're not going to play it? So for sure, just make sure, Davis. I feel like I got to keep my eye on you, and hopefully I can come back and do like see on the screen who you took, because you're gonna try to slip in.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You're gonna try to slip in something. Anyways, we this has been the Insiders TV. I feel like someone just tripped in the other room. Maybe my dog. I don't know. Something just crashed. Hold on. You guys talk, Davis. Talk about the industry. Recap the industry, and recap the injury news. And I want to make sure that my dog is okay. And or
recap the entire industry.
I'm gonna recap the entire industry of daily fantasy sports. No,
starting from 1999.
Yeah, a couple things to watch before tip-off. News on Jermaine O'Neal. If Jermaine O'Neal is for sure out, I really like Draymond Green as a play, and Maurice Spates comes in play at power forward as well, especially on FanDuel. The Nets, you always want to look out for stuff with them. Maybe they're trying to change things up. The ownership had to come out and say that they supported Kidd. With the flu, Amir Johnson, Jonas Valanciunas, and Rudy Gay all have the flu in Toronto. If any of those guys are out, all of their backups are dirt cheap. I know someone in the chat was talking about Terrence Ross. He would immediately become a really good play. Did I miss anything, Nap?
Talk about Washington. Check on Ariza's minutes if they say anything.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
I did check this morning on Golden State's roster. If Jermaine O'Neal doesn't go, they have 8 healthy bodies. One of them who has played 5 NBA minutes ever. So basically, because they have 5 centers on the roster, and the guy Ondrejka Kavalek or whatever, he has a broken hand. Deadman has played 5 minutes ever. So yeah, it's a total wasteland there. Is the dog okay, Dave? Is it okay?
There was a pile of pillows next to like this chair on the floor, so I felt like she tried to jump on the chair, and the chair is like a swivel chair, and it probably bucked her off because she was.
Hold her up.
What's up, Sadie? Can you say hey?
What kind of dog is that? Is that a mix?
She's an Amstaff Terrier, so she is an American Staffordshire Terrier. So this is her. Can you say hey, Sadie? Rough. So I've had her since I was Davis's age. So I'm almost 30. I got her when I was 20, and she could fit in my boot at the time in college.
Wow.
So or maybe I was 21. Anyways, so yeah, she's good. You guys did an awesome job covering all the industry news. So.
All the industry, all of it.
We even covered Joust. We got everything.
Fantasy Feud, Double Up, all of it.
Was the first one the fantasy? Man, what was it? Snap. Yeah, Snap Draft. I always want to say Snapchat, and that is something that
When did you guys start playing daily?
Nap, I'll let you handle that.
Very end 2010.
Did you play? Were you a poker guy before?
Oh yeah, 8 years. Okay. 8 years online.
Right on. Cool.
See, I wasn't. I was just a fantasy nut, and Ben, Natural Slugger, he's the one who's like, dude, you've got to try this. And I had seen a Google ad for it and clicked on it, and it was a Draft Street one. That was the first one I actually clicked on. And I just was super skeptical. I was like, there's no way you can make money and play for money with this. And it's hard to believe that was over 2 years ago. But this is about the time that I started playing my first NFL. I remember I was at the in-laws, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And so I just kept on like entering games. And it was like super addicting. And, no one even knew it. No one even knew kind of how big it was going to be. No one knew how much money I was putting in at the time. So at that point, without the when you just got married, which I had just gotten married, you can't like put like $1,000 in the account and like on the credit card, and so you have to come up with like creative ways to kind of put money on there, because otherwise you're going to be sleeping in the on the couch instead of in the bed with your beautiful wife. And
literally every time someone sends me a payment on PayPal for writing or for anything, it just goes immediately into one of my daily accounts. Like it's just like insta ship.
There's no track record of it.
Yeah, it's great. Like I don't have to take it out of like my bank account that I like pay for real things for, so it's like theoretical money, which is easy to lose.
Good stuff, and that is why we are addicted to it. That's why it's so good. But also the fact that it's coming, the fact that it's like getting just bigger and bigger, and people are actually, when you have people tuning in to watch you play a game, watch you draft, or watch you talk about fantasy sports, the audience is just so much more engaged than the season-long audience, in my opinion. And so I think that's why it's so good. But anyways, was a fun show, you guys. Really appreciate coming on. You can reach these guys on Twitter, and Davis also does the Daily Pulse article for us for NBA on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, tomorrow's slate is juicy. So be ready for that tomorrow, guys.
We are ready, and Nap, appreciate you coming on. You can reach him at Naapstermaan, one of the top players in the industry. So if you have any questions, feel free to stick around and chat, ask them. We'll be talking basketball, and until then, we will see you guys later.
To the beach, y'all. Let's go. All around the world, y'all know this is so that. To the beach, y'all.
Should also mention that we have some big news coming tomorrow, so you want to be there. 3:30 Eastern.